Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Now this video I wanted to make as a continuation to the video that I made on petitioning for your alien relative. So for example, if you have green card or if you're a US citizen and you have relatives, whether it's a spouse, whether it's your children or your parents, your sister, your brother, and you want to petition to sponsor them, to invite them to come to the United States, not just come to the United States to visit you, but actually move here and get the immigrant visa to come here and live here and get their own residency and get their own citizenship. Now I have done a separate video specifically on the application form, and I'm gonna start this video a little bit briefly describing the process. So as you guys can see, I have USAS.gov website open in front of me. This is the official government website for US Citizenship and Immigration Services. So all of the information that I get, related to the immigration, I get it from here. This is the official source. I don't use online forums. I don't use third-party websites because there's a lot of scam out there. There's a lot of people that try to get money out of you. I use the official stuff only. Okay, so we're gonna go into forms and all forms, and this is where you can find all of the immigration forms, whatever you need, whatever you're applying for. And we're gonna go specifically to the form I-130, petition for alien relative. Now I have made a separate video specifically describing step by step on how to fill out this form. Luckily now you can file this form online, which is what I would highly recommend you do because it saves a lot of time. I mean, you're saving at least a few weeks of your application time, because once you submit it online, it is automatically accepted and you get your notification. In the next couple of weeks you're getting your notification, so you're completely taking the wait time for the mail to get delivered, for somebody to open up the PO box and take the application, for somebody to get to your application and review it. You're skipping all of that by filing the form online. So I highly recommend you doing that, and I did the video again describing the process in great detail. Okay, so let's say you filed your I-130, and if you already did file your I-130 for, let's say in this example, you are John Doe, you're inviting your parents, all right, from whatever other country. You're a US citizen and you're inviting your parents from Brazil, for example, all right, and you already filed your form I-130. First thing you will notice that after filing the I-130, you will realize that, wow, the process is a little too simple. All I did is type up a few things, upload a few documents, submit it, and that's it. It was very simple. And probably about few months, 3 months to 6 months, maybe even up to a year, you received a notification from USAS, from the immigration services, that your case has been approved. You're good to go. So now you're like, okay, now what? This video I wanted to make as a continuation to I-130, and hopefully, luckily, everything went through. You were approved. Now what? Okay. Now we're getting into the interesting part. Now we get into the main stuff where all of the stuff needs to be happening, all the documentation, all the sponsoring documents, all the financial stuff. Let's talk about this in this video. Okay, so you will receive, once your application is approved for your parents, right? In this example, for your parents. It can be for your wife, husband, for your children, but for this example, this video, we're going to talk about your parents. You're inviting your parents, John Doe. So you will receive an email from the Department of State. Yes. And the reason why you will receive your email from the Department of State is because Department of State is responsible in dealing with embassies, US embassies all across the world. So obviously the next step for your parents in this example is now to work with the US embassy in the country where they live, in this example Brazil, right? So you're receiving the email from the Department of State telling you that, okay, you have been approved. Now it's time to fill out all of the documents, all of that sort of stuff. And you will get the case number and the ID number. This is going to be separate, and this is the website that you will get. Both of these websites you will get in the email. This will be the informational website, travel.state.gov. This is also from the Department of State. All right, this is specifically for the information, and we will talk mostly in this video about this website here. But all of the stuff that you will be uploading, all of the stuff that you will be filling out will be done on this website. And this is it's also from the Department of State, but this is their internal. So it's not open to the public. This is only for those people that already have been approved by USCIS, who already have the ID and the case number. And this is where you will be entering. So once you enter the case number, obviously click the I have read the terms, whatever, case number. Once you enter the case number, we're gonna do something random. Click continue. Okay, so you have to have a valid case number in order to get to the next part. Once you enter the case number, it will get you to where you enter the ID. Once you enter that, it will get you to your personal portal where you will have to do all of that stuff. Now, I can't show you this, how that looks here, because I don't have any open cases going right now, because you actually have to have your own case open. But basically it will look very similar to this, nothing crazy. You will have two things to do in that portal. One is going to be the IV application, which is the immigrant visa application, and also you will have the opportunity to add the sponsors. Obviously the main sponsor is going to be you, and your IV application is going to be done for your parents. Now, this will be also, you will also be able to have your parents log into the same portal, so they can enter all of their immigrant visa details, or you can fill it out for them. In fact, when you will be logging into this portal, it will ask you who is logging in. Is it the applicant logging in? Is it the petitioner logging in? Is the attorney logging in? So if you are logging in yourself, John Doe, who is inviting the parents, petitioning for the parents, you will select the petitioner. If it's the parents logging in to fill out their application, they will select the applicant. But it really doesn't really matter that much. Like I said, you can fill it out for yourself, or your parents can fill it out themselves, or an attorney, or if you're working with an attorney. It's very straightforward. Immigrant visa, you're filling out the application basically that will be used by the embassy in Brazil in this example, or in your country, wherever the country where you're inviting your parents, your wife, your brothers, right, your sisters. And also you will be filling out the sponsorship application. Both of these applications will have separate fees, so you will have to pay for them. And the fees, it will tell you how much they are. I think they're about $150, $200 each application. And then if you need to add additional sponsors, you don't pay for them. You only pay for one sponsor. So you pay for yourself, and then if you don't have enough money to sponsor, let's say both of your parents, and you have to add another sponsor, you don't have to pay for that additional sponsor. And once you're done with that, then all the fun stuff begins. And let's talk about now all of the process. Okay, so this page right here, I recommend saving this link. I'm gonna put this in the description below of this video, and this will show you step by step everything that will be involved in your application process. So the very first step, obviously, you are submitting the petition. Like I said, I've done the video on how to fill out the form I-130. Very simple, very straightforward process. This is the first step, and you could read about this here. Very straightforward, nothing crazy. Once it's done, it will go to the NVC processing. NVC is the National Visa Center, and that's basically part of the Department of State. And they will be the ones dealing with all of the further steps after you're done with, after your I-130 has been approved by USCIS. And again, I recommend reading some of these steps here. Now let's go to the pay fees. This is once you log into the portal, once you're done filling out that IV application, and once you're done filling out that sponsorship application, this is the next step to pay the fees so that all of that stuff is submitted. Now let's see if the fees are actually shown here. That would be really nice. So like I said, two different fees: IV, application processing fee, and then affidavit of support fee. Like I said, any additional sponsors, if you need to add, you don't have to pay for them. So let's see if we can find information on the fees. Okay, so there you go. Hopefully it's updated information and nothing nothing new is gonna come up for you. So as you can see, $120 is the affidavit of support fee. This is for the sponsorship fee, just for you, one fee, that's it. And then the application processing fee, the IV application processing fee, $325. So that one is a little bit more expensive. So once you're done filling those out, you will have to pay those fees. Now you can pay them together at the same time, at once, or you can pay one and then pay the other one. Now, if you are applying, if you're petitioning for, like in this case, we're petitioning for two people, for parents, for John Doe's mom and dad. John Doe is petitioning for his mother and his father. Obviously, there's going to be two fees for the application that he will have to pay. So not cheap, but definitely worth it. Okay, so once you're done with paying the fees, that's it. It goes to the processing. Now, the very first thing that we're going to talk about here is the affidavit of support. Affidavit of support is what you are as a petitioner showing that you are willing to sponsor, in this case, in this example, your parents. All right, and you're doing that by signing the form I-864. Now I'm gonna open up the I-864 so that you can see approximately how it looks, but I will probably end up making a separate video specifically on that form, just so that you know exactly what it entails. Because sometimes it's easier, if you're filling out the forms, it's easier to go with, with the video. It helps. If you have a question and you don't know how to, fill out a certain part, it definitely helps. So we are looking for I-864, and here it is, affidavit of support. Very simple, as you can see here. I'm going to open up. This is the form. Now, there are quite a few pages to it, and most of it you will see is the financial stuff. And it will ask you about your assets, how much money you have in your bank, what kind of real estate you have, where do you work, how much money you make a year, all of that sort of stuff. That will be submitted. After you submit that stuff, they will also ask you, it can be at the same time, or it might be after the review, after they're done reviewing your I-864, they will ask you for the financial documents. And we're going to move on to the step 5. Now, like I said, step 5 and step 4, they might be combined in one step, they might be separate. They might ask you, they might tell you, okay, upload the I-864 and upload your tax returns. Or they might just ask you, upload your I-864, and then they review it, and then they say, okay, upload your tax returns. I've seen both situations happen with different cases. Don't be surprised. It's really hard to tell which one is what. So once you're done with that, once you upload all of that stuff, after that is the longest time that it takes for the people who are in charge of this part to review all of your documents. And I've seen the cases where they say, hey, you need additional sponsors. If that's the case, unfortunately, you will have to find an additional sponsors. It just means that the income that you showed in your application is just not enough for them to continue with your application. So with that being said, you probably wonder, okay, so what are the standards whenever it comes to the income to sponsor somebody? Unfortunately, it's very vague. You can find them here at this page on Affidavit of Support, step 4, and you will see them here, the 2022 Poverty Guidelines Calculator. Basically, it says that you have to be 125% of HHS poverty guidelines for all other sponsors, and 100% of HHS priority guidelines for sponsor on active duty in the US Armed Forces. So if you're in the military, there's an exception, like a 25% exception for you. If you're not, then 125 for everyone of the HHS priority guidelines. However, with that being said, don't be surprised if by your calculations you are doing good and by their calculations you're not. I've seen that happen. Like I said, the requirements are very vague and they do look at everybody differently. It depends on whether you're a W-2 employee or you're a 1099, what your taxes show. So if they do request additional sponsor, instead of arguing with them, instead of trying to prove your point, just try to find another sponsor, okay? And another sponsor, it can be literally anybody else who is earning decent income that you think can contribute to the case of your parents. It can be your relative, it can be your brother, it can be your friend, it can be your employer, it can be literally anybody else who is willing to help you out, to help your parents out to get this stuff. So keep that in mind. All right, so once we're done with that, once you submitted everything, once all of this is reviewed, you will get all of this communication. Luckily, on the plus side, Department of State, they do a pretty good job communicating through the email. So once there is an update on your case, you will get the email notification that you can log in immediately to this portal right here, and you will see all of the notifications there. If you need additional documents, if you need to pay a fee, or if you got approved for everything, that's it, you're good. So once you got approved, once you're done, you will get the email saying that that's it, your application was approved. Now you need to wait, not you, but your parents or whoever you're petitioning for, they need to wait until they get the notification from their local US embassy inviting them for an interview. All right, inviting them for the interview. So that's online application, we're done with that. Civil documents, done with that. You're gonna scan, submit documents. All of these steps are in detail, but this is basically all of this here from step 2 to step 9 is really done in 1 or 2 days. So once you get the notification from NVC, you can immediately log into portal, upload all of that stuff, and be done. Once you're approved, you basically are jumping to the step 10. Here your parents are preparing for an interview at their local US embassy. So for example, in Brazil, there is an embassy in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. I don't know, honestly, I don't know where. It's just an example. I'm not from Brazil, so it's just an example. So if your parents live in somewhere else in Brazil, they will have to prepare because they will get a call or email or some kind of other notification, mail maybe, but probably call from US Embassy in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, telling them, hey guys, we got your whatever documents for you from your petitioner for you to come to the US. We are inviting you for the interview, whatever. All right. So once you're done with that, once you get that notification, it will be time to schedule and complete medical examination. Now that's the important one. And this medical examination is going to be pretty much the same exact medical examination that if you obviously if you're the petitioner, if you're immigrant petitioner for your alien relatives, you know what that medical examination is. Because in order to apply for green card, you have to go through that medical exam. It's the vaccinations, it's the blood work, it's all of that sort of medical stuff that you have to do. Maybe I'll make a separate video on what that medical examination is specifically and how it's done and what kind of forms you need to fill out. But basically it's a form that you print out, you bring it to the doctor fills it out for you, the doctor seals it for you, and then you cannot open it. You don't open it. You get it sealed in the sealed envelope, and that sealed envelope you send to the immigration and say, okay, this is done. This is gonna be very similar. You're gonna have the forms, you're gonna go to a special clinic that does these examinations, it cannot be just any random physician. It has to be a special approved clinic, and you will see, let's see, you applying for visa are required to schedule medical examination with an authorized physician in the country where you blah 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 blah. Okay, so exempt list of U.S. embassies accounted for. Okay, so let's see, open this page, if that's the right page. So let's say we did it in Brazil, right? So let's find a Rio de Janeiro. Hopefully there is in Rio de Janeiro. There's gotta be. Oh, Rio de Janeiro. There we go. Rio de Janeiro. So register your appointment online, blah, blah, blah. Schedule a medical exam in Brazil. Okay, this is it. Medical exam instructions. Boom. Open that up. And there you go. This is all the approved physicians in Rio de Janeiro, or not Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil actually. There is one in Belo Horizonte. There's one in Rio de Janeiro. There's one in Brasilia. And there's one in Sao Paulo. Okay, so not a lot. For the whole Brazil, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 medical providers. That's it. So it's not any kind of random clinic. It's specifically these guys. All right. So I'm going to put this link in the description below as well so that you can find it quickly. Okay. Specifically for you. Obviously, it's not going to be Brazil. It can be literally any of these. You know, there's plenty of US embassies all over the world, depending on where you are. But this is how you find your authorized medical provider where you need to do this testing. And it's gonna be this very similar thing. You're gonna go, they're gonna ask you these questions. Hey, you had this disease, you had that disease, whatever. They're gonna take all of these tests from you. They're gonna do the vaccinations that are required. If certain vaccinations you already done, you can show them the statement showing, there you go, already done these vaccinations. They'll be, okay, we don't need that. And then they will give you that sealed envelope, unless it's specifically different in that clinic, but most likely it's the same. They will give you a sealed envelope of all your results that you will take with you to that interview. So all of these documents, and your medical examination is going to be part of this document packet, you will have to bring to your interview. Now, the interview, basically very straightforward. It's just like your regular visa interview in US embassy, only this time you're not going for a non-immigrant visa, you are actually going for the immigrant visa. And here on this page, on step 11, applicant interview, you can find everything that you need to bring to your interview. And as you can see, you'll have to bring appointment letter. This is the letter that you will receive from US Embassy before, you know, for your invitation. Obviously your passport, photographs, DS-260 confirmation page. DS-260 confirmation page, you will get it once you are done with that IV, immigration visa application, on the this portal right here. You will have that. Very simple, it's just one little page with a barcode, nothing crazy about it. Now obviously all the supporting documents that have been uploaded to CEAC, which is this right here. This is a Consular Electronic Application Center. This is what the CEAC stands for. So all of the stuff that you uploaded, scanned versions, you will bring the originals, printed out originals to that interview. Now, obviously, if you need English translation, you can do. You'll have to do that. If the documents are in, let's say, Brazilian, you'll have to translate that. I don't know if it's the language Brazilian. Probably Portuguese. Portuguese. I need to travel to Brazil to know a little bit more about it. Embarrassing. But and then obviously the visa fees. If you have not paid them yet on the NVC. If you paid them on the NVC, that's it. You don't have to pay again. You only pay it once. So alright. Most likely it's going to be already paid, so you don't have to worry about that. Obviously don't fail to appear for the interview. Okay. So that's it. Once you're done, once you go through the interview, if your visa is approved, hopefully your visa is approved, you see all of the stuff that you're doing approved by USCIS, go through medical exam, there is still a chance that the visa might be denied. So hopefully everything goes good and it's approved. Once it's approved, you'll get your passport, visa, that's it, you're good to go, you're good to travel. So hopefully this video was helpful. I know I combined a lot of information, a lot of steps in one video. So if you are interested in one specific step, ask me in the comments and maybe I'll make a video specifically on separate thing. Like for example, filling out this form, Affidavit of Support. maybe I'll make a separate video on that. But you can always ask me in the comments below and I will be happy to answer. So I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.